Yo, what's up? This your boy Dante coming to you with another episode of Keeping It a Buck. And today I'm going to keep it 1,000, not just a buck. A buck is like 100. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Um, and before I go into the content, I know a lot of y'all have saw the title, and I know it's gonna probably make some of y'all mad. But stay with me. I promise you, you're not gonna be mad. Not them trying to pander. I'm not cooning, but I'm gonna point some things out and help people realize and take the blinders off and see what our Democratic opponents are doing. And again, I'm a conservative. I'm not necessarily a Republican because I believe that Republicans, in my estimation, they're very weak, and they're not standing up for their rights. And so, and they're not fighting hard. The Democrats, they don't fight fair. And again, they just want to just whitewash everything, but then they want to point out everything about white people. So I'm going to talk about that today. So before I go into the content, as always, I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And again, I definitely thank you. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by doing this. I'm not making you do it. You don't have to do it. But if you want to support, you can do it this way. Now, without further ado, I'm going to talk about some things because I say the Republican Party plus white supremacy equals President Donald J. Trump. Now, and I put the question marks behind it. So I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to question and think about it. Don't have the cognitive dissonance. Use your brain for a minute. Now, back in the day, Donald Trump was the one that everybody aspired to be like, right? You know what I'm saying? But now he's a white supremacist. I'm trying to figure out when did he become a white supremacist. Also, we have the Republican Party, as everybody know, they the ones that really stood with abolishing slavery. They was the ones that pushed the civil rights movement. That pushed the bill through in 1964. It was the Democrats, and I believe his name was Strom Thurmond, that actually tried to the Civil Rights Act. And then once he didn't get his way because Lyndon B. Johnson said, no, I'm going to give them the Civil Rights Act, he jumped ship and went to the Republican Party. What people don't understand is that we've always had infiltrations on both sides. So when people say, well, the Confederate flag is flown by most of the people that are Republicans, you got to understand the Dixiecrats and all of them that was in the South. So that's the ones that use the Confederate flag. So again, in the South lost. Let's just own that. The South lost. Now, it's okay for Strom Thurmond to get mad, get in his feelings, and then infiltrate or move over to the Republican side. That's why people are saying there was a realignment during that time. But we have to understand Strom Thurmond was definitely a segregationist. He pushed the Dixiecrats. Do some research for a minute. We got to understand where the racism comes from, and they will not let it die. Somebody told me yesterday, they say, you know what, Dante, stop blaming the sinner and look at the sin. Okay, we can acknowledge there was a sin, a very heinous crime that was done in America by slavery. Chattel slavery was a heinous crime. But do we continue to punish that crime, or do we move forward? Listen, this is me, a black man that thinks on his own, is that do we continue to punish a person for their sins, or do we forgive and move forward? That's a question I have for you. So again, some people may say, call me a coon or say I'm pandering. None of the sorts. I'm not doing none of that. I call it like I see it. And after doing some more research, I'm like, wait a minute, because I couldn't understand how in the whole heaven and hell I voted for Donald Trump in 2016. I knew I had a strong disdain for Hillary Clinton. I didn't like her, so I knew I wasn't voting for her. And it was no male egotistical thing. I wasn't about that. But it was just something about Trump that I said, well, you know what? And some people say he was the lesser of two evils. As I said before, I'd much rather have somebody that's going to punch me in my face than somebody that's going to shoot my face off. I'd rather take the lesser of two evils. I'm not making Trump a god. I'm letting you know that now. But what I'm saying is Trump wasn't always viewed as a white supremacist, and I'm going to show you how in just a few seconds. So again, I look at America as a family. Now, family don't always get along. Family disagree. Sometimes family go through divorce and all this and the third, but it does not mean that we cannot be amicable towards each other. But so what they're trying to do now is continue to say, well, daddy cheated on mama. Mama forgave daddy, but we got to still punish him for cheating on mama. No, that's not what we do. We try to find a way how we can mend and move forward. But we have people on the Democrat side that's saying, hey, Remember racism. Don't you ever forget it. Don't forget slavery. Don't you ever forget it. Nobody is saying don't teach slavery. I think that's a part of American history. So we should know about it. And even when I was in high school, I was taught about slavery. Now, maybe it didn't go into depths as it should have, but at the same time, teaching the CRT thing, I'm totally against it because it was wrong for white people in that time to have a problem with black people because of their skin. And I'm saying in 2021 is equally wrong. Why can't we get along? But Rodney King said, can't we all just get along? Are we going to continue to go through this madness? And I'm sick of it. And so when I was watching a video last night with Joy Reid and Chris Rufo, it really ticked me off because I'm like, these people are relentless. They will not stop. Now I'm going to say this about the Republican Party. You got to stop being wimps. Now we say that we stand up for faith, we stand up for family, we stand up for the Second Amendment, we stand up for the First Amendment, but yet and still these Democrats, and I'm calling it like I see it. And listen, it was a starch. I was hard for the Democrat Party. Didn't understand why, but I was. I voted for Obama in 2008, 2012. He got nothing. Not from this brother right here, because I wouldn't vote for that foolishness. I began to see the layers slowly but surely. Even Don Lemon had me mad at Donald Trump. Now, like I voted for him in 2016, but in 2018, I was still, yeah, Trump is a racist because they were showing me the one clip of them saying that, there was good people on both sides, but they cut that up and then they painted a narrative. And people did not do their own research. What he said is he strongly disavowed the KKK and white supremacists and all that. He disavowed it. He said, I'm totally against it. Now, I want you to think about something else as well. They tried to also associate him with being a white supremacist because of David Duke. One thing that nobody can do is stop people from endorsing them in a sense or saying they support them. You can't stop that. You can't stop that. I mean, he disavowed the KKK, but if David Dorn and all of them wanted to, not David Dorn, David Duke, excuse me, wanted to go out here and continue to, support Donald Trump and paint a certain narrative, then so be it. The proof is in the pudding. In 2016, he got, I believe, 6% votes. I believe that his vote count went up in 2020. I believe he got 12% of the vote. And most of them was African-American men. See, but yet and still, we saying that, and I think that's the biggest problem why they're pushing the CRT again. And they pushing it because they say, wait a minute, in 2016, we lost to Donald Trump. And in 2020, y'all read my mind there. Just read it. But in 2020, we had more black people support him. His numbers went up. So if everybody believed that he was a white supremacist, then why in whole heaven and hell did we vote for him in stronger numbers? So what they have to do is get us back in our emotions and our feelings, like most women. I'm being honest on the Democratic side, and that's why most black women support the Democratic Party because they're emotional and they know that if we can get the woman, then we can get the man. Look, ain't nothing new under the sun. That's what Satan did with Adam and Eve. He said, if I can get Eve, I can get Adam. And then it just messed up everything. So again, I'm not saying that women shouldn't vote because they should. Women should vote. They should definitely vote. They have a voice. So I'm not going to say that women shouldn't vote. But at the same time, we have more men that's logically thinking and they're voting with policy, not voting with emotions. So just think about that for a minute. So let's go here real quick. Because I'm not taking the race bait. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking debate. I'm not taking debate. But let's go here real quick and let me show you something. Now, this is Donald Trump with Snoop Dogg back in the day, right? Now, was he a white supremacist then, or did he just all of a sudden just morph into one? That's my question. Did he just morph into a white supremacist? Now, this is Snoop Dogg after Trump became the president. Look at this. And guess what? It's still up on the internet. And they always talking about on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. They're saying that, you know what, you're not supposed to promote violence. This is violent. This is very violent. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay for them, but it's not okay for anybody else. And not that I want to promote violence. That's not my thing. Not promoting violence. But it's ironic to me that y'all say that the Republican Party is the party of white supremacists, but why in the whole heaven and hell are the Republicans and the conservatives being canceled? Why are they being censored? Why is it that we have liberals and Democrats and just say what the whole heaven and hell they want to say, and their platforms are still up? You know, so if Trump was really the white supremacist that y'all say that he is, like a lot of people believe that he is, then wouldn't he still be on Twitter? Because I really believe that is the white man named Jack Dorsey and the white man named Mark Zuckerberg that is censoring people and trying to get this communist mindset in us. That's what I really believe, and I don't think it's right. I think capitalism works because, and I'm not talking nobody else talking points. I'm just telling you what I know. When I work, it benefits me, and I can bless somebody else. But if everybody on the same page, then it's kind of hard to be a blessing to somebody that's in need. We got to start thinking with our brain and stop using it just for a hat rack. We got to do better. That's all I'm saying. So here go another picture. This is Sean Puffy Combs or P. Diddy, because he don't know who he want to be. But that's what him and Melania Trump, they sitting there together. They chilling, they smiling, they seem like they having a good time to be. But now he's, because was he a white supremacist then, or again did he morph into one? Because I just don't think that people can change their hearts that quick. So back then you was chilling with him, it was all good. Let's go forward. We have Reverend Ron and Russell Simmons with Melania and Donald Trump. Everything was good. Let's continue to go, because I just want to show you that I'm trying to figure out, when did he become a white supremacist? Here we go. We have Mike Tyson and Donald Trump, and I still really believe deep down that Mike Tyson really do still rock out with Donald Trump. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe wrong. Let's look at this dude right here. This is when Al Sharpton was fat and he had a little bit more hair, and he's with Don King. Now they sitting there talking to Trump. They smiling real hard. It make you wonder, like, what happened? What happened? I believe that most of the time, some of these pictures back, I think that's when Donald Trump was a Democrat. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was a Democrat then, and I think they mad at him because he got off the Democratic, um, you know, train and decided to do something different. Let's continue. We have Jesse, I don't know how to talk, Jackson, and Donald Trump and Don King, and I believe there's Muhammad Ali. I may be wrong. I think that's Muhammad Ali. I don't know boxing like that, but I think that's Muhammad Ali. And they chilling, right? We got him and Dennis Rodman. They chilling. They cool. They smiling. Everything seems to be good. Oh, let's go to the king of pop. We have him and Michael Jackson together. They chilling. Now let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. Look at this. That was cool. So my question is to you Negroes, when did Trump become a white supremacist? So we're going to talk about this dude right here, Mr. Joe Biden and the Dixiecrats. Okay, you got to understand something. Joe Biden is a liberal, always has been a liberal, that's not going to change, ever. And he's with, I believe that is Strom Thurmond, I believe that's who his name is. Again, I gave you a little knowledge about him. He was a governor in South Carolina. Then he ended up going to the Senate. He lived to 100 years old, and he made sure that he requested that when he died, that Joe Biden, our resident, would eulogize him, and he did, just like he did Robert Byrd, who was a KKK member. Now, let me back up something, because I know that a lot of people want to associate Donald Trump with his father. They saying that he was in the KKK and that he got arrested at a KKK rally or whatever the case may be. So the sins of the father are supposed to be laid on the son. I don't care what you say. People can say what they want to say, but it's about your actions. His actions show something different. If he was a white supremacist, or he was if he was a racist, then he wouldn't have took pictures of white people, or black people, I'm saying. He wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't even want to touch a black person. He wouldn't even want to be close to a black person. So this is lunacy here. And again, all these people that are now coming out against this man, they never, ever, ever had a problem with him until he started calling out and started pulling out their dirty laundry. This is Mr. President Biden with Mr. Thurmond again. Now, Mr. Thurmond again was a segregationist. He was the one that filibustered the Civil Rights Act. He pushed it, and look at Joe Biden. He just so comfortable, because remember, that's his mentor. But yet and still, this is what the Democratic Party don't want us to know, is that Joe Biden have a past too. We all do. But some of us have made better decisions. So it was even stated that in order for him to even win, now he had to get a black person on the ticket, because we all know that if Joe Biden would have ran with maybe Elizabeth Warren, or if he would have ran with somebody else, that 9 times out of 10, he wouldn't have got into the White House. Now, Again, there's some other stuff that is being investigated. I'm not going to talk about it here, but those of you that keep your ears low to the ground, you know what I'm talking about. And hopefully that yields something. Now, this man, Mr. Thurman, he was the man that had a outside kid, right? And it was a mixed kid. But you don't like black people. You want to segregate them. You don't want them to go to the same schools. And Joe Biden was the one that got this ideology from his mentor, Strom Thurmond, by saying that he didn't want to integrate schools because he didn't want his kids going to school in a racial jungle. That's what he said. I didn't say it. He said it. Do some Googling because I'm not going to give you everything. But look at here. This is Strom Thurmond's daughter. She look a little mixed, don't she? She look a little mixed, don't she? But you got a problem with segregating and all that, and you had a problem with that, but yet and see you didn't have no problem coming together with a black woman to create her. And I'm gonna put them together. That's them together, father and daughter. We want to talk about that. We got Don Lemonade, right? This guy. Now, if white people are just evil and they have white rage, then why did you marry a white man if it's all about this white rage? We got to start using our brain more than a hat rack. I'm just totally being honest with you. I'm being totally honest with you. And so we have that. And then when you see people like this with Donald Trump, dominant, I like them. They call it like it is. They're coons. They're suck-ups. Again, Strom Thurmond was a Dixiecrat, supported by the Dixiecrats, actually ran in the presidency, I want to say in 1948. He ran for president, didn't win. And so, again, we have the Dixiecrats. We know that they was racist. And then the Dixiecrats became the Democratic Party, more or less. They just came together. So let's really think about what the racists really are and who are really the racists and who want to keep this racist narrative alive. Why don't we want the American quote unquote family to come together and resolve issues? Again, the more you talk about something that is heinous, something that was hurtful, something that was horrific, the more you live in that moment and you just get mad all over again. Sometimes when I think about me being molested, even though I forgave my molester, sometimes I think about it or I see a TV show on about somebody being molested and I get mad all over again. Why? Because of the simple fact it's keeping me in that moment of where it hurt. But once I advance a week and I advance a month and I advance a year, it don't bother me so much. So we got to get our feelings, and I'm really directing this to black folk. We got to do better. And I'm gonna tell you something. Today I was reading in the Bible, because I do that. I read the Bible, and I was reading in 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I began to really think about David. And then I said, you know what? Trump kind of like David. He kind of like David, because when Goliath was running his mouth about God and God's army, David took a problem with that. And so I look at the establishment in the Republican Party and in the Democratic Party. Trump was more like David and called it out, saying that, wait a minute, you're not going to do the American people this way. Trump may not be a Christian, may not be saved, but he do stand up for Christian values. So it was like basically he was trying to go against the establishment, and the establishment is represented like Goliath. And then you had David, this person that came up against Goliath that was way bigger than David. And we got to understand the establishment is way bigger than Donald Trump. Donald Trump could do but only so much. Then even in reading in that chapter, it was saying that David was bringing them lunch, doing what the father told him to do. So a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump was doing, he didn't have a choice because God was directing his heart. Now, Trump may have not realized it, but the Bible says that the heart of the king is in the Lord's hand. He can turn it whichever way he wants to. So there's a lot of things that God was using Trump to do. So Trump was doing what the father told him to do, and the people that should have been celebrating him had an attitude. Okay? So my prayer is that when Trump comes back, that he realized that he can't fight with another man's armor, that he got to fight with what he know to fight with. It was David that ran up on Goliath and said, wait a minute, you uncircumcised Philistine, you're not gonna indict my God. You're not gonna do that. And we have the establishment laughing like at Donald Trump. They saying, man, who are you? You're a little kid. You coming up here with a rock and some sticks. What you think you're gonna do? Now, instead of the army being behind David, the Republican Party, being around Donald Trump, they didn't do that. They ran and they scattered. They scattered. Then you have people that saying, you know, just like Elab, not Donald Trump. I keep mixing David and Donald up. Forgive me. But just like David's brother, Eliab, he said, what did you come out here for? To watch us fight? Like basically taunting him like, dude, you just coming out here to be an observer. David didn't even respond to him. Y'all read First Samuel chapter 17. And when it was all said and done, David got the victory. David said, I'm coming in the name of the Lord. David picked up 5 smooth stones. And when he slew Goliath, the Bible, I believe, God put his force behind it. And what we need to be praying for now is that, God, we need your force behind the goodness and the things that you're trying to push. We need your goodness. So let me show you a quick video real quick. This video, I'm going pretty fast, and I appreciate that. But let's go to Joyless Reed, because I'm about to say Joyless Behar. I don't like her either. Carrot Top, I don't like her. But anywho, I don't like Whoop either. I don't like her. I'm just being totally honest with you. But let's go to Joyless Reed, and let's see what she's talking about here.
You say that Ibram Kendi, Dr. Ibram Kendi, who's a college professor, you call him the guru of critical race theory. So we reached out to him. I've interviewed him before. So we reached out to him because you say he's the guru of critical race theory. You name him a lot in a lot of your, both in your manifesto or your talking points memo, but also in your video. We reached out to him. We asked him if he's a critical race theorist. He said, I admire critical race theory, but I don't identify as a critical race theorist. I'm not a legal scholar, so I wasn't trained on critical race theory. I'm a historian. And Chris would know this if he actually read my work or understood that critical race theory is taught in law schools. I didn't attend law school, which is where critical race theory is taught. It's really the only place it's taught. NBC has looked into everywhere, and it's not taught in elementary school. But hold on a second. This is the second thing he said, which it's strange to me that you.
Let me respond. This is not a monologue. This should be a dialogue, right? Am I right?
It's my show, so it's how I want to do it. So let me read you one more quote from him, because you've made a lot of claims about critical race theory, saying that white Americans are inherently racist, that racism is inherent to whiteness, and that is one of the core charges that you're making about, you know, these sort of what you consider like sort of woke studies in school. This is what Ibram Kendi has said in his own words. He said, we've been taught that racist is essential to who a person is. It's a fixed category. It's in someone's heart. That's one of the reasons why people are unwilling to or unable to admit the times in which they're being racist, because it's not just admitting I was being racist in that moment. Basically, we're tattooing racist on our forehead for the rest of our lives. Isn't that the opposite of what you're arguing?
Well, I'll say 2 things. First of all, it's very interesting to me that so many people are now running away from the race of the label of critical race theory. But
he's not a critical race theorist.
Hold on. I'm going to quote 2 critical race theorists. Barbara Applebaum with the book Being Good, Being White. She says, quote, all white people are racist. Robin DiAngelo, scholar, says that, quote, all white identity is inherently racist. So what you're doing is you're playing a series of word games. You know that critical whiteness studies is a subfield of critical race theory?
No, it's not.
These things are all deeply interrelated.
No, they're not.
And I'm not going to let you play word games. And this is really, I think, the most essential thing.
Hold on.
Now, as you see, Ms. Joyless Reed, we didn't give the man a chance to explain himself. Now, had the shoe been the other way around, they would have hollered racism, racism, racism. He's a racist. He's a white supremacist. Again, this narrative that they're painting is false. It's a false equivalency. And I just want people to wake up. Like I said, I'm not saying that Trump is a God, that Trump is going to be the savior of the world, because Jesus already did it. But what I'm saying is, I just want to know, when did the Republican Party become white supremacists, and when did it equal Donald Trump? Because everything that Donald Trump do or say is all made bad on the media. But when it comes down to it, all these people that they was with Donald Trump back in the day, they rolled with him, they broke bread with him, they drank liquor or wine together, whatever they did it. And then now you're mad at him because he's calling out your mess. This is the way I look at it. If you don't want people to talk about how messy things are, clean it up. Clean up. If you don't want people to talk about how nasty your house is, clean up. And then you won't have to worry about that. Once you clean it up, they won't talk about you. Now I'm saying this, Trump ain't did everything right because he ain't God. He can't be perfect. None of us can. But this whole race baiting narrative they trying to push, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. I have no problems against white people. I have no problems against black people, Latino, or nobody else. Because I understand in order for me to make it to heaven, I'm going to have to love everybody, as the Bible says. Anybody I deem an enemy, the Bible says I'm supposed to pray for them and I'm supposed to love them. And I don't go around here and do evil for evil. But this is what the Democrat Party is telling us to do. I ain't with it. I ain't for it. So again, I think this is the shortest video I've ever done. Because I'm going to wrap this bow up real quick. Hey, if you like this content, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And again, I thank you. Again, I am not taking the bait, but they're trying to put out here with this racism stuff. I'm not doing it because we have come too far as a people. I don't care about people saying they're not racist or they are racist. I'm looking at the actions of the people. And I've seen many white people as well as black people come together and get along. I see most white people fighting with white people, more black people fighting with black people. I don't see it the other way around where blacks and whites are just fighting. But the media is going to continue to put this stain in front of us and say, look at the stain, look at the stain. But that stain happened hundreds of years ago. We can't go back and change the past. But what we can do is we can work on having a brighter future. And that's what I'm looking forward to. When you remove God out of the equation, this is what we get. And we know the Democrat Party has a problem with God. They really have a problem with God. I'm not saying all Democrats, because I think some Democrats just don't know, just like I once didn't know. And I'm saying there are some Republicans that's playing along to get along that need to do better. Don't say you're going to be the party of the people and then yet and still you want to be a part of the establishment and get your pockets fat. That goes on both sides, period. You're going to be for the people, because y'all don't want we the people to act up. So if you don't want us to act up, do what we sent you to Washington to do. Otherwise, it's probably going to be us acting up. I'm just saying. And then they pushing this whole narrative of this quote unquote insurrection on 1/6, and they are comparing it to 9/11. So you saying your own people, which the Republican Party is not all white. So that's what blows my mind when they say, well, the Republican Party, they're white supremacists, but you got too many color folk in there for it to be a white supremacist party. Let's talk about that senator that is a part of that's a Democrat, that is a part of a club where it's whites only. And then he's going to make the statement saying, hey, we get into I think his name is Senator Whitehouse. He said, we get into what we're going to try to integrate. It's 2021, dude, and y'all still got an all-white club. Why they ain't talking about that? Why the Democrats ain't going off about that? Because he's pushing the CRT too. How hypocritical is that? So again, I supported Donald Trump because Donald Trump called it like he saw it, like most people do. He was not a politician. Thank God for that. But if y'all think that the Republican Party is a party of white supremacists, do your homework. Do your homework. If you think that Donald Trump is a white supremacist, I showed you the pictures. Make it make sense to me, because it don't. But again, I'm not going to go into another dissertation. So again, if you like the content, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll holler at you guys soon. Y'all stay up and stay blessed and stay prayerful. Pray, pray, pray. Some people have a problem when you say pray, but we need to talk to a power that's higher than us, because if we could have fixed it, we would have. We can't, but I know a God that can, and I don't make no apologies about it. So it is what it is. I love you guys, and y'all stay up and stay blessed. Peace.